Welcome to Not in a Huff with Jackson Huff, where we interview newsmakers, storytellers, and all-around interesting people. Sit back, relax, unless you're driving, and enjoy the show. Here's Jackson.
Hello. I am Jackson Huff. This is Not in a Huff. Thanks so much for joining me. As always, really appreciate it. This week I'm speaking with Payton Howie. Now, Payton is a new sensation in the country music world. Talked to her, based in Texas. She's originally from California, moved out to Texas, splits her time between Texas and Nashville. We're going to talk kind of about her passion for music. We're going to talk about starting out in the industry, her process for writing, how she writes with, a team of different people, how the actual lyrics happen, but then also how the melodies happen. I've spoken with people in this world before, in the music industry, people that have put out rock albums, people that put out Christmas albums, all kinds of stuff like that. I don't know that I've spoken with somebody truly ingrained in the music world when it comes to country, and so I really appreciate Payton kind of giving us that insight, because every genre probably is just a little bit different in how people break into it. Music is music, but like we mentioned, country music is so Nashville focused, so Nashville based, that I think a lot of people that have a great deal of success find themselves in Nashville at some point. I mentioned that in our interview. So it's fascinating to kind of hear her journey from Southern California to Nashville, Tennessee, and the culture shock that happened there, and her process, how she comes up with some of these songs, and the great music. I've listened to quite a few of her songs on streaming platforms. They have over 1 million downloads, so other people are certainly listening to. We're going to kind of talk behind the scenes on the process of writing music. We're going to talk behind the scenes on creating music videos, how she feels about even having to create those videos, some of the crazy things that have happened when filming some of those videos. We're going to talk, of course, about her music and how to find it and what you're going to hear when you do find it. She's kind of she's doing some really cool stuff when it comes to kind of getting back to classical country, that that grit, but then also throwing some rock into it. I'm not a huge country music person. I'm definitely not super well versed. When I was a kid, I actually was big into country music. So 90s country, Alan Jackson, Garth Brooks, those people I know. The new people, the new sensations, probably couldn't tell you who those were. But I do know Payton Howie, and I do know she's got some awesome stuff. So I think you're going to enjoy this one, whether you're a big country music fan and looking for a new artist, whether you're a huge Payton Howie fan and just want to hear her interview, or whether you don't care about country music at all and just want to hear kind of how somebody got their start in the music profession and the awesome things that she's doing and the awesome things ahead for her. So here is my interview with Payton Howie. I'm here today with Payton Howie. Miss Howie, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. If you would, just introduce yourself.
Yeah, my name is Payton Howie, and I'm a country rock artist. I get to play shows all across the country and put out original music, and I honestly would not rather be doing anything else.
Well, that's good. It seems like you're pretty successful for with what you're doing. So let's ask you the most basic question that I'm sure you get asked 100 million times, but how did this whole passion for music start?
Yeah, I've always, had music inside me. It's always been a thing that I've always been singing around the house, teaching myself how to play different instruments, whatnot. But I just picked up a guitar when I was about 14 and started teaching myself to play. And just people that I've met along the way and people that have taken me under their wing have really shown me what it means to be a true artist and to create my own music, not just perform, but go out there and create something that's going to make someone feel something.
Yeah. And you talk about picking up a guitar at 14. Is your family musically inclined? Like, where did the guitar come from? I don't feel like they're just laying around everywhere.
Yeah, my dad, he's left-handed though, and he has a left-handed guitar, and I used to always be jamming on that thing. And then as I got older and figured out that I could do it, I restrung the guitar and then made it a right-handed guitar with a little bit of handiwork. But my family, my dad was a huge classic rock guy, and my mom was, like country girl. So I got the best of both worlds.
Yeah. So did you learn how to play guitar with all the strings upside down?
Well, no, I was just kind of jamming out like that, but then I ended up getting my very first guitar about at that age, and started teaching myself to play, and had some people teaching me a few things.
I gotcha. Yeah, and I know that kind of maybe a little bit of passion for the stage started even earlier. I read that you something with you and Carrie Underwood. What's going on there?
Yeah, when I was 5, my mom took me to my very first concert, and she brought me up on stage. She kind of saw me out in the audience, kind of dance. I was in the aisle just dancing around, and I was only 5, so it was a real little thing. And she stopped singing, and she knelt down, and she told her security guard, "Hey, go grab that little girl, bring her up on stage." So she brought me up there. We were holding hands, singing songs, and that's a moment I'll never forget. Getting to look out and see the faces of everybody just coming together over a universal thing, and that's music. So that's kind of where I got my spark for performing and being an artist.
Yeah, and I think that's really cool. I'm sure that'd be an amazing story in a few years. Let's say quicker than that, in 6 months to tell her at a big award show or something, right?
Oh, hey, that would be crazy. Be like, girl, do you remember this?
Yeah, I don't. I feel like that. I'm sure she doesn't, but that would be awesome,
Probably
wouldn't it?
not. No, I don't think you do either. Probably not.
Yeah, so I want to talk to you a little bit about, I guess, how the songwriting process goes. I think that do you work with a team on it? I was looking at some of the your lyrics, and I think there's a couple names on it. You're always included too. So how does songwriting go for you?
Yeah, so I started out writing all my own music. So my first few songs I dropped were all, originals, just written by me. And then my last EP I co-wrote, was myself, Michael Austin, Eric Halbig, and Joe Yeager. And we all co-wrote those songs for this specific project I was working on. But I do co-write with other artists all the time, just because first of all, it's a great way to network. It's a great way to get your, creativity flowing, and really learn about yourself as a writer, and to learn from other writers. And that's honestly, if someone ever started out, writing, songwriting, that's the number one thing, is co-writes. It's so cool just to get to sit across from somebody and have a completely different perspective on a song.
Right, right. I wonder too, just kind of where your inspiration comes from. Definitely when it comes to having, a group of people, does everyone kind of bring different ideas and then you work with it? Or is, the person that's going to be singing them like, hey, I want to sing a song about July 4th. And then that's what you guys write a song about, is how does that work?
It really depends on like what the creative vibe is in the room, coming into the write. Sometimes you'll sit down and you'll have no ideas, like you're just shot. And
Hmm.
the person, that you're writing with is like, "Hey, I have this idea and I just can't finish this line," or I haven't been able to come up with the right phrasing for this, let's write this. It's all just a matter of whatever each person brings to the right. Like I know specifically when we wrote "Jail and Jesus" for sake of discussion. That was something that I had on my heart, and something wanted to write for a long time. And so I brought it to them. I was like, "Hey, like I'd love for this song to be a part of the songs that we write." And so that's kind of how "Jail and Jesus" came to be, just for a good example of how the inspiration comes about.
Yeah, yeah. I wonder. So what? I mean, you said that Gel and Jesus, that that was on your heart. I mean, how do you get these inspirations? Talk a little bit about, I guess, kind of that passion. I think that kind of some of the theme is.
Yeah. It's everything. It's life. It's little things that you hear, something that you read, something that somebody says to you, and in the heat of the moment, and you remember that, or you write it down. It comes from everyday things, or even sometimes like, "Hey, like I have this idea, but I can't do this." And you're like, "Hey, what if you come at it from this perspective, or maybe think of it this way?" Or sometimes just sitting down and writing from your own life stories, and making it kind of like a therapy session. Like, "Hey, I'm just gonna tell this story that I've had in my life and just put it to music." Or even just kind of coming up with a feeling and just writing a song about that feeling. It's just kind of, it all pulls from everything.
So we've talked about how you write the songs, where your inspiration comes from for writing. Are you involved with the music side too? You talk about strumming that guitar. Are you writing any of the notes?
Yeah, a lot of the times, sometimes I'll have, melody stuck in my head, or I'll have chord progressions that I just like really want to write to. And I think a great example of that is my song Break My Own Heart. I
Mm.
had that chord progression stuck in my head forever, and I was like, I really want to write something to this. So I brought that into a write, and that's how that song came to be. So I love getting to be part of both sides of the spectrum for sure.
That's really awesome for sure. And it always kind of blows my mind that there's some really, really huge, artists that are very much one part and not the other. So I can't imagine like being, which I'm not a musical person. So this is me like telling a parent how to raise a kid when I don't even have any kids either. But I can't imagine how somebody who's so into music only does one part of that. But I hear that's a thing.
Yeah, some people are better at one thing than the other, and that is okay. Everyone's got their talents and their strong points for sure.
Yeah. So we know that you write the lyrics, you do the melodies, or at least a good chunk of them. So if people are turning on a Peyton Howie album, what are they hearing? What's your sound?
Honestly, I'm a country rock artist. That's my main vibe, like good gritty country rock. And that's the cool thing is that a lot of my new music that I'm making too is just like, kind of a more extreme version of what I've already done, that gritty, edgy country rock. And I think there's not a lot of people doing that right now. And so I'm definitely glad and honored that I get to be one of the people bringing it back.
You throw out the word extreme version. I don't know what that means. What does an extreme version of what you've done before mean?
I think in the past, as I've matured and evolved as an artist, I've recorded some stuff, where maybe my voice was still developing, and I feel like now, kind of, I'm coming a little bit more into my own and kind of finding more of my sound. And now I feel like with this new stuff that I'm recording is definitely as close to my sound as it's ever been, and I'm really excited about that. So that's what I mean by that. I mean, I think it's the most me that it's ever been.
Well, that's really cool. Then I like to hear that for sure. And I know that you are originally from California, which doesn't scream, gritty country rock. Where are you based at now?
I'm in Texas, and I split my time between Texas and Nashville.
With rock music, I feel like everyone is all over the place. That's really where I've talked to people before. I don't talk to a ton of musical artists, but when I do, it seems like it's been in rock, and they're not always located in one area. But it does seem like country music, if people are getting into country, they at least got to spend some time in Nashville. It's weird how there's so much going on there. So I mean, is it even possible to be a country artist and not spend a bunch of time in Nashville?
I mean, it really depends on the route that you're choosing to take. I do all of my recording and a lot of my networking and songwriting out in Nashville, but I do a lot of my performing out in the Texas area. I perform a lot all across the country, but I would say mainly Texas is the hot spot for me right now. I do some performing out in Nashville as well, but I really just try to split my time, kind of work out in Nashville and kind of live out in Texas.
I hear you. And so, your transition from California, maybe even from Nashville to Texas. What was that like? Obviously, Texas is different than anywhere else, I feel like, but it's definitely different than California.
Yeah, it definitely was a little bit of a culture shock because I was born and raised out in Southern California, and then coming to Texas, which I love Texas, and I love Nashville as well. I mean, there's parts of California that I love, but I got some family and friends back there still, and it's changed a lot. It's definitely changed a lot more since it used to be how it used to be when I grew up there. So coming to Texas was definitely a culture shock, and there's such a great music scene here and in Nashville. So I'm loving just getting to be a part of all that.
Yeah, I like that. So talk a little bit about your EP. I've heard you say that it's 5 songs, and each one is very different from the other. So with just 5 songs, if you would kind of walk us through what people are going to hear if they check that out.
Yeah. So my debut EP is called Youngblood. It came out in February of this year. And, from beginning to end, it's all different kind of stories, different vibe. And each song is a different piece of who I am as an artist. I got my country rock in there, even got some traditional influence, patriotism. and even you got a little party song right at the end, Never Go Home. That's my little party anthem. And so it kind of goes from one side to the other, and each song has a different part, like a different piece of my heart. So that's pretty much what Young Blood is.
I like that. And where are you at? Obviously, you're promoting the that EP, but where are you at when it comes to songwriting? Are you somebody who is constantly thinking of ideas, constantly writing, or are you somebody who, okay, I need to write something. I'm 6 months out from needing to produce an album EP, and I'm gonna buckle down now. What's it look like?
I try to write almost like every single day. So I try to, get some writing out. Even if I don't finish something, I still try to get some writing out every single day. And I'm doing a lot of writing right now because, the whole music scene kind of shuts down and goes like full Christmas mode through November and December. So I'm putting some new music out come first quarter next year. So I'm doing a lot of prep for going into the studio towards the end of this year. So I'm writing a lot right now. I would say during touring season, like this past summer and, all the festival season, it's a little bit harder to get writing time in. I still try to get some time in on the road. But now it's kind of like a crunch time for writing, just trying to, come up with as many things as I can just to get all the creative juices flowing for when I get in the studio.
I hear that. I like that. Yeah, this is the time that Mariah Carey wakes up from her slumber for sure.
She's defrosting as we speak.
She is. Yeah. And it's funny too, because you've made me remember that several of the other people that I've talked to that are in the music scene one of them was actually came on to promote it, but they've all released Christmas music just because I think it's inevitable at this time of year. Is that anything you've ever thought of? Are you ever thinking that I need my take on Jingle Bells?
I put out a Christmas song when I was real young a few years back, and it's still out there and people still jam that thing whenever December comes around. But I mean, right now, I mean, it's not on my mind. I've thought about it. But I don't know. I'd have to give it a little bit more thought. Not this year. I definitely think I've done some videos. Like last year I did a cover of Mary Did You Know, and I did a really cool video for it. But I'm focusing a lot on my originals right now. But I definitely think in the future it'd be cool to do some country rock Christmas. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah. How long have you kind of, I guess, been in the music world? You got your first guitar at, what do you say, 15 or 16? But how long have you actually been doing it where people are listening?
I'd say I've been doing this since I was about 15, give or take. No,
that's cool for sure. So you're not extremely far removed from kind of the beginnings. I always like to ask people, because sometimes people get so, with a lot of things, they get so far removed, they forget kind of the beginning parts of things. So I want to ask you, what was the beneficial part, the coolest part of getting into the industry? Maybe some surprising parts of it that you never thought was the case, but now that you're knee deep into it, that it's something that you have to deal with.
I would say I've been lucky where I've had a lot of really talented and seasoned artists, kind of take me under their wing and kind of show me the ropes, you know what I mean? And I think with every new thing that you start and every new journey that you go on, you're going to experience some difficulties or some unexpected things. And I would say that I've definitely, especially considering the fact that, we had the whole COVID thing and whatnot, but I was one of the artists that was really lucky to still be able to be out playing music and writing music and recording during that time.
I'm glad that you were able to, still stay in it during COVID, because I can't imagine how, that would be to an artist that is used to kind of going out and playing in front of people and then the people disappear. So happy to hear that it didn't affect you as much as some anyways. I guess I don't know whether we necessarily got to the question exactly. Give me some of the good parts of it, which is should be a ton, hopefully, and then some of the things that have been kind of crummy about all of it.
Well, honestly, there is not much negative at all. I've had some great positive experiences. I've had some great opportunities, and just I've had lots of really cool people that I met along the way. And I honestly wouldn't have had it any other way. I've had some great experiences, stepping stones, people that I've gotten to work with, people I've gotten to open for. people that I've gotten to just jam with or hop up on a stage with. It's just the coolest feeling from any level of the industry. It's just cool to get to vibe with other musicians or be creative, especially when you're out in Nashville. There's so much creativity just flowing around, and I honestly wouldn't have had it any other way. And especially like being an artist and really pursuing it in like a very serious, national manner. It's definitely cool to see all the people that you get to touch just through music, or tell your story, or you put out videos like the Jail and Jesus video telling a very serious story. And I can't even tell you how many messages I've gotten of people just being like, hey, that really hit home for me, and telling me their stories and exchanging experiences of how that touched them. And it's really cool. I think honestly that is one of the best things about being a musician and being an artist, is that. And honestly wouldn't trade that for the world.
Yeah, and I did watch that music video. I like that a lot. It was really cool. It's a powerful story for sure. Makes me wonder too about music videos. People that are into music sometimes aren't into acting. They don't like that kind of thing. So I've talked to people who like they hated the music video. They hated having to do it. And then some people just eat it up. Where are you at with it? Did you love having to do these music videos? Or are you somebody that's like, ugh, or where are we at?
I'll be real with you. I am a natural artist. I am not a natural performer. I've never liked someone that's like, oh my God, look at me. Like, that is not my vibe at all whatsoever. So being a performer and being especially somewhat of an actress in music videos is very, I need like a few days notice to kind of get there mentally, and prepared, get myself there, get myself in the mode. And I will say I feel like I've gotten more comfortable with it and I've gotten better at it. And the cool thing with the Jail and Jesus music video is I got to just be a storyteller, which is kind of what I feel like I do naturally. So Jail and Jesus video, I was in my element there. I was feeling good. But I will say sometimes, like I'll give you just a little insight on the video Never Go Home. At the very end, I do this cliff jump, and the very first time that we filmed that shot was the like last shot of the day. We had filmed everything all day, and I climb up to this cliff and I'm getting ready to jump off, and I was super nervous because it's a big jump, and I wasn't nervous, but I was like, oh man, this is gonna hurt my stomach. I'm gonna jump, and that feeling. Mm-hmm. And so I was getting ready to jump, and we did it, and I had all my hair and makeup done, getting ready to jump off this cliff, looking all showy and whatnot. And so I jump off the cliff and I land in the water, and I'm like, oh, we're finally done. And we did it. Yeah, the video's done. And I start swimming back to the boat. And my producer goes, hey, you got to do it again. And I thought he was joking. I was like, oh, you're lying. And he's like, no, there was a guy on the other side of the mountain. And he literally was mooning the camera. And I was like, yo, you are kidding me. So I had to go swim all the way around and climb back and jump off all the way again. I was dripping wet. But yeah, so it's a little fun fact about that video. And I was like, man, I'm not an actress. I was not made for this.
That's awesome for you that you did it again, but terrible that happened. I can't imagine that. I mean, I don't know how you feel about cliff diving to begin with, but for everyone to be watching you do that was like, I don't know, it was like 2 years ago. I feel like cliff diving is when I realized I'm old now. I can't do the things I used to do, because I used to do that quite a bit. And then 2 years ago was the last time. And I was like, this is really high and I am not immortal anymore. So I don't know. I can't imagine that. Definitely having to be filmed doing it. The filming would not be pretty for me. I would look awful.
Well, honestly, I'm an adrenaline junkie, so I was totally living it. I was like, all right, I'm not complaining. I have to do it a second time. It was just funny because the first time my hair and makeup were all like perfect and whatnot. And then the next time I was like, all right, I'm soaking wet. Let's just jump off the cliff.
I feel like that makes it more real though. If you're all done up and you're about to jump in, like, yeah, sure. Let's show me somebody who goes to the pool looking like that.
Right. That's true. You're not wrong.
So if this was 5 years from now, where do you hope your career is? Obviously meeting Carrie Underwood, telling her all this story, but let's talk a little bit about where you hope everything is at that point.
Yeah, I think my main goal as far as I'm doing this is I want to be doing this as long as I can. I just want to be out there writing, recording original music and sharing it with people, and getting to connect and, play some crazy shows. That's always a fun time. And so I just hope to be doing this as long as I can. Obviously climbing that ladder, I got a couple bucket list things that I'd love to knock off. And so that's what I hope I'm doing 5 years from now.
I like it. Yeah. And at this point, when you're at, you're playing all kinds of venues, at this stage in your career. And I just wonder, what's some of the most interesting, craziest venues you've had to play? I talked to somebody who had to play on the back of not a moving, but a back of a trailer. So talk a little bit about that. Well, I guess that's kind of normal. Stages. There was something weird about it. I don't remember. Tell me the weirdest part for you.
Man, I will say I've had the opportunity to play some pretty amazing places, but I've also gotten to play some pretty crazy places.
Yeah.
I've played inside a Catholic church before, which is like nothing against that, but it was just, with my vibe and, the kind of music that I play, it was just very, very off brand. But it was still a good time. Not too long ago, we played a pickle fest, and the entire thing was just a festival dedicated to pickles. So that was kind of AWOL. I was like, all right, this is cool. And I mean, honestly, I've played some pretty crazy places. I've done the whole trailer thing. I played in the back of a moving truck during a parade one time.
Oh, wow.
That was pretty cool.
That is cool. Yeah, I'm intrigued by the Catholic Church and the Pickle Fest. I mean, I can understand how the Pickle Fest happens. You just get booked for different festivals, but I'm confused about how Catholic Church happened. Were they just ready to rock that night, or what happened?
No, so I had a vocal coach that worked with the Catholic Church, and she did kind of like a showcase, and she was like, hey, y'all come in and sing this, sing one of your favorite songs at the showcase. And she just sent us the address, so I pull up and I'm ready to sing some Gretchen Wilson, and she and I pull up and I'm I didn't know it was a Catholic church, and I tell her, I'm hey, is this song still okay to sing? She's like, yeah, it's fine. And I'm pretty sure it was Redneck Woman, and I felt horrible doing it, but I was like she said it was all right. She's like, it's fine, just do your thing. She said pick one of your favorite songs, sing. So I did a little Gretchen Wilson cover in a Catholic church, and it was odd, but no one complained, so it was all right. That's
interesting. I wonder if you were the first person that ever said the words high class broad in the middle of the Catholic Church.
Probably. Hopefully the last too.
That's funny. Well, I don't want to take up too much more of your time. How can people find all things Payton? I feel like a lot of people have found it already. I think you've got 1 million downloads, so that's amazing. Congratulations on that. But for the other people that haven't found it, how can they find your music, and how can they connect with you?
Yeah, so my music's on all streaming platforms: Apple Music, Spotify, YouTube, Amazon, all the places that exist. I promise my music's out there. And I also have all my show listings, all my social media, my merch, everything listed on my website, paytonhowie.com, PAYTONHOWIE. And you can find all my social media there, Payton Howie Music, and it's all over the place. So come find me.
I really appreciate it. Thank you for your time today.
Thank you for your time. Appreciate it.
So that was Payton Howie. Really enjoyed speaking with her. Really appreciate her time. This edit was a pretty good one, if I do say so myself, because man, when I spoke with her, we were having tons of Zoom problems. Man, I don't. Luckily, I've interviewed a lot of people since then, and that hasn't been the case. But I appreciate her sticking through the interview. It was tough. Let's just say that we both got disconnected a few times, but I think that we were able to share her story in a really great way, from kind of the beginning to where she is now, and the awesome places she's going to go. Urge you to check out her music. Go on YouTube, check out her music videos. Go check out that video where you can see her jump off that cliff. You can see that she's already wet, and maybe the makeup's not where it once was. You can see that in the video, and yeah, it makes it even more funny once you kind of hear that story behind it all. You can check out a lot of her other music there too. Of course, on Spotify, go check her out there. Already got a lot of downloads, but I'm sure she'd be just fine if she got some more. Go check her out. I do know that, like I mentioned in the beginning, I'm not a huge country person, but I did enjoy listening to her music, and definitely some of that getting back to the roots of country music. You can hear that in her songs. So check that out. Check her out on social media, of course. All her links are going to be in the show notes, and I urge you to follow along. Of course, with us, if this is your first time listening, go give us a 5 stars on Apple. Go give us those 5 stars on Spotify. Really appreciate that. While you're in there listening to Payton, you want to hop over to our page and give those 5 stars. Would appreciate that very much. On Apple, leave that written review. Even more awesome. We're on Instagram, Not Enough Podcast. On Facebook, Not Enough with Jackson Huff, jacksonhuff.com. Lots of places to find us. If you haven't listened to all 100+ episodes before, urge you to check some of those out too. A lot of great people in the past, other people in the music world as well. A lot of great people coming up, so hope to see you back next week. Take it away, Chris.
This has been Not in a Huff with Jackson Huff. Thank you for listening. Be sure to join us next time, where we will interview another amazing guest who is sure to make you laugh or make you think. Or, hey, maybe even both. But until then, keep being awesome.